Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC Vegas 61, and in the main event, we have a women's strawweight fight, Mackenzie Dern versus Yan Xiaonan, and this is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this women's strawweight fight. And if I'm being honest, and you look at UFC Vegas 61, this is a shit stain of a fight night card. I like the main event, but I don't like it as a main event. I mean, this Mackenzie Dern versus Yan Xiaonan is a co-main event of a fight night at best. And then you start looking down the card. This is an awful fight night card. And I know there's some people who cover MMA who will lie to you and give you fake enthusiasm for a terrible card. I will not be one of those people. I mean, the co-main event of UFC Vegas 61 is Francisco Trinaldo versus Randy Brown. Need I say more? This is a terrible fight night card. The main event kind of has some implications to it. I mean, it's two top 10 women's strawweight fighters. I don't think either one of them is going to fight for a title in the near future. Maybe one fight away at best after this. Whoever wins this fight is maybe one fight away. But you look at the division right now. You have Carla Esparza defending her belt against Weili Zhang at UFC 281 in November. Then after that, depending on who wins there, you kind of have Marina Rodriguez waiting in the wings, who has a win over both of these girls. And then also you have former champion Rose Namajunas waiting in the wings as well. So who knows? Either one of these girls, even with a win here, could be at least two fights away from potentially fighting for the women's strawweight title, because best case scenario, maybe the winner of Weili versus Carla defends against Marina. And then the winner of this fight could potentially fight Rose Namajunas in their next fight for a number one contender spot. So whoever wins this fight is going to be in a good spot in the division, but I don't think it's good enough to earn them a potential title shot in their next fight. But this is your typical grappler versus striker matchup. We know what Mackenzie Dern wants to do. She wants to go out there, take you down, and submit you. We know what Yan Xiaonan wants to do. She wants to go out there, beat you up for 3 rounds, and win a decision. So this is a semi-interesting fight. It has kind of title implications, but not really. But if you look at the tail of the tape for this fight, Mackenzie Dern is 12-2. Yan Xiaonan is 15-3. Dern is ranked number 5. Xiaonan is ranked number 6. Dern is 29 years old. Xiaonan is 33 years old. Dern is 5'4". Xiaonan is 5'5". And they both have a 63-inch reach. So if you look at Yan Xiaonan, of her 15 pro MMA wins, she has 7 wins by knockout, 8 by decision. She comes into this fight on a 2-fight losing streak. Her most recent fight was against Marina Rodriguez, an opponent in common with Mackenzie Dern. She lost this fight via split decision at UFC 272, March of this year. And this was a very close fight. Honestly, this fight could have went either way. I thought Marina Rodriguez just barely won it, but it was a striking battle throughout. And, you know, it was so close. Both girls were landing decent shots. I thought Marina Rodriguez landed the more powerful shots, the better shots, the cleaner shots. But if Yan Xiaonan would have got the decision here, I wouldn't have been calling it a robbery. It was a very close fight. All 3 rounds, back and forth striking. The fight before that was a loss to Carla Esparza back in May of last year, where she just got absolutely dominated by Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza took her down, controlled her, landed some damaging shots in the first round. Second round, took her down, advanced position, eventually ends up in the crucifix position, holding Yan Xiaonan down, and she had no answer for it. She could not get out of that position. And even though the shots weren't particularly it wasn't the most brutal ground and pound I've ever seen, the referee can only let you hang out there for so long. Carla Esparza beats her up in the crucifix position and eventually wins via TKO. Before that, she was on a long win streak. But, you look at Claudia Gadelha, who's now retired, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, Angela Hill, all decent wins, don't get me wrong. But every single win since she's been in the UFC has been by decision. She has yet to win in the UFC via KO, TKO, or submission. So, even though it's some decent competition, I mean, Claudia Gadelha at one point was considered second best within the strawweight division, so that's a solid win. She faced a little bit of adversity in that fight. I think she won that fight 29-28. She was out-grappled in the first round, and throughout the fight, she faced issues with Claudia Gadelha in the clinch in that fight. And, the other wins, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, I know she's kind of having a little bit of a resurgence. I don't know how much that win really means. The Angela Hill win, I mean, I'm surprised she didn't win by split decision, and Angela Hill complained about it at this point in time. But not the greatest of wins, and none of them were super dominant. You look at Mackenzie Dern, of her 12 pro MMA wins, 7 by submission, 5 by decision. Of her losses, of her 2 losses, she's lost 2 by decision. She comes into this fight off a win against Tecia Torres. She won via split decision at UFC 273 in April this year. This was a very close fight. The second round was the only real clear-cut round, if I'm remembering correctly. Mackenzie Dern had her in all sorts of trouble, looking for Kimuras, looking for leg locks. I mean, Mackenzie Dern was really trying her hardest to submit Tecia Torres in that second round. But Tecia Torres refused to, give up that submission. Tecia Torres has very good, anti-jiu-jitsu and very good submission defense. And outside of that, I just thought Mackenzie Dern, even though she looked very sloppy on the feet in this fight, I thought she landed the more powerful shots, and I thought she won this fight. Tecia Torres was kind of just moving around at range and side kicking to the body of Mackenzie Dern. And this is a quality win. The fight before that was against Marina Rodriguez in October of last year. Basically, in this fight, Mackenzie Dern couldn't get the fight to the ground enough, and Marina Rodriguez was just a far superior striker. I think it was in the second round that she had Marina Rodriguez in some serious trouble. And then another time, I think it was in the fourth round, towards the tail end, like 20 seconds left. And I actually picked Mackenzie Dern in this fight. I thought if she can get it to the ground, she will submit her. And I thought she'll be able to get her to the ground at least once throughout 25 minutes. This was a main event for Mackenzie Dern as well. And she got her down. She had her down for a substantial period of time in that second round, I think it was. In a little bit of time in the fourth round, she got close. She was setting up some submission attempts, but she wasn't able to get it. And then, the rest of the fight, Mackenzie Dern has awful striking and was getting lit up on the feet by Marina Rodriguez. Fight before that, she beat Nina Nunes via armbar. How much does that really mean? Verna Jandiroba, she won via decision. Decent win. She submitted Randa Marcos. I think she slipped. Marcos followed her to the ground. What a terrible decision to follow Mackenzie Dern to the ground, and eventually gets submitted. And a win over Hannah Cyphers via knee bar. I don't know what that really means. And then Mackenzie Dern's other loss is to Amanda Ribas by decision. That's a quality opponent, and only losing by decision. If I remember correctly, she basically just got outstruck in this fight, but that fight was all the way back in 2019. I think Mackenzie Dern has vastly improved since then. This is a fight that is your typical grappler versus striker matchup. Yan Xiaonan likes to come out, pressure, throw a lot of volume, and not finish you. She likes to win via decision. So basically, she likes to outstrike you for 3 rounds and win via decision. Mackenzie Dern likes to drag you to the ground and submit you. That's her goal every single fight. Both girls are actually pressure fighters. Mackenzie Dern, even though she doesn't have the best striking, she is not afraid to just plot forward and throw sloppy, powerful shots. And for Yan Xiaonan, she's a little bit more technical. She's the superior striker. She likes to move forward and just throw combinations. And, if Yan Xiaonan is able to keep this fight standing, I think it will be a terrible night for Mackenzie Dern. But if Mackenzie Dern is able to get this fight to the ground, I think it's going to be a short night for both of these girls, because I think Mackenzie Dern will be able to get the submission. There's very few girls, I think, that if she gets to the ground, she cannot submit, because her jiu-jitsu is that good. So if you look at them skill for skill, Yan Xiaonan clearly has the better striking. Mackenzie Dern clearly has the better grappling and jiu-jitsu. And what I really think this fight comes down to, Yan Xiaonan's style, she's not going to go out there and finish Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern took big shots off of Marina Rodriguez. I don't think Xiaonan is going to put her away when she's not finished a single opponent in the UFC. And I think Yan Xiaonan's style is predicated on forward pressure. And she throws some wild winging shots. And I think Mackenzie Dern will find a way to get her to the ground and eventually submit her. And that's exactly why my official prediction for this fight is Mackenzie Dern via first round submission. I just think Yan Xiaonan is going to try to press forward, her typical fighting style. And if she doesn't press forward, I don't know how she's going to look, because then Dern is going to be pressing her backwards. And I think whether Dern gets her in the clinch and maybe gets a judo throw or trips her to the mat, I just think once they get to the ground, I think Dern is leaps and bounds ahead of Yan Xiaonan in the jiu-jitsu department. I just don't see Yan Xiaonan being able to survive on the ground with her. And I know Xiaonan has only ever been submitted once, but she has not fought anyone close to the level of grappler that Mackenzie Dern is. And I think Yan Xiaonan is either going to plot forward, throwing, looping punches and get shot through and taken down, or she's going to try to play more tentative, which isn't going to be conducive to her style. And I think Dern is going to just rush forward. She's going to be sloppy. She's probably going to eat some shots, but she will find the clinch, and she will either pull guard and then transition and scramble and end up in an advantageous position or a submission attempt and eventually find the submission on Yan Xiaonan. I'm going to say Mackenzie Dern, first round armbar. I'm going to say 3 minutes and 53 seconds into the first round. Mackenzie Dern, first round armbar. I don't see either one of these girls getting a KO or TKO. I think it's either going to be, if you think Yan Xiaonan is going to win, I think Yan Xiaonan wins by decision by being able to stuff the takedown and, just landing on the feet. But she hasn't shown the ability to be able to stuff the takedown throughout her UFC career. And it only takes one time with Mackenzie Dern. And next thing you know, you're in an armbar, you're in a leg lock of some sort. She showed terrible takedown defense against Carla Esparza. I know Esparza is a great wrestler. Terrible takedown defense against Claudia Gadelha. I don't think she's going to be able to scramble back to her feet, because even if she can attempt it, I think then, it's going to leave the opening for a Mackenzie Dern submission. So I got Mackenzie Dern in the first round via armbar. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.